Saturday night in Central Oregon means another baseball game. The Elks and the Corvallis Knights in Game 2 of a 3-game set between these two foes that matched up just a year ago in the playoffs. It's the righty Ryan McDougall on the bump, working to Joey Marasco. And the first pitch fastball is called a strike on the outside corner. We get started just 1 minute behind schedule at 6:36. Roscoe squares and pulls back. Welcome inside the broadcast booth. I'm Aiden O'Neill. Thanks for joining us. Ryan McDougall, the man on the mound, has been up and down so far this season. See that ERA ballooned a bit up, but still 6 strikeouts to 7 walks out of Benedictine College. 1-1 heater runs low. The Knights in their all gray uniforms with the C on the left side of the chest, and the Elks in their home whites with the black caps. Joey Marasco was not in the lineup yesterday. Today, Brooke Knight says, you're in the leadoff spot. McDougall with very good stuff. A mix that Coach Wes Harper has really raved about so far this year. Now just looking for it to hit full stride. Pops up to 2-2, out of play. Corvallis, their lineup tonight after Marasco: Rentz, Flores, Garvey, Natai, Horn, Rios, Farah, and Hammond. A lot of familiar faces from Friday night as McDougall bends in a pearl of a curveball, and that's how this ball game gets started. A backwards K to Joey Marasco. When it's working for Ryan McDougall, it's a hammer, straight up and straight down, and it buckled the knees of Marasco. Now Berkeley Rentz. Take high. Rentz a 771 OPS. He's in the lineup in the 2 spot last night and reached twice. Take a breaking ball. That time had a little more horizontal movement. The defense behind McDougall tonight is Sitko, Friend, and Murphy from left to right in the outfield. Alfaro and Sanders on the left side. Jones and Miller on the right side, with Ortiz doing the catching as the 1-1 is grounded up the middle, fielded by Jones, and his throw to first is in time. Braden Jones, the slick fielding middle infielder, getting the start tonight, and immediately getting in on the action after a couple of games of sit-in. Good to see him back in there. Now it's Flores. Take a strike at the bottom of the zone. Flores playing first base tonight and in the 3-hole. Will take high. This Corvallis offense yesterday came to play with 13 runs on 15 hits, and they still left 16 runners on base. Sliders called a strike. It's 1-2. Flores has been good. 6 runs batted in, a 977 OPS. But that stuff that Wes Harper was raving about, we're seeing it now from McDougall, and he got him swinging. Cleaned up by the catcher Ortiz. Throw down to first. A clean 1-2-3 first inning for Ryan McDougall, and he punches out 2 in the process. The young righty showing out at Genna in the opening frame. To the home half. Elks coming up after this. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth. Aiden O'Neill, thanks so much for joining us on this picturesque Saturday night at Genna. The Elks, losers of 7 straight in WCL play, looking to come back tonight. And you couldn't have asked for a better start when it comes to Ryan McDougall, the young right-handed pitcher with pure stuff, punching out 2, and it looked filthy. A hammer curveball to end the inning, cleaned up by Ortiz, making his first league play start. And now the Elks will hit an offense that has been towards the bottom of the WCL in extra base hits, looking to turn it around. This is a year after, too, where the Elks were one of the best offensive teams in the entire league. It's been a peculiar start, but a good way to start it is, how about a new face? Jackson Murphy leading off, then Jace Miller, Marcus Galvin, Travis Friend, Troy Sanders, Jordan Ortiz, Eddie Alfaro, Braden Jones, and Dimitri Sisidko rounding off the lineup. The starter tonight for the Corvallis Knights is the southpaw, Ari Silva, and he'll fire in a pitch that misses away. Silva just graduated high school out of Sacramento, California, committed to LMU for next season. Murphy slashes one down the left field line. It's fair. He'll hit first and head to second. Welcome to Ben Jackson Murphy, a leadoff double. He just went right with that pitch. High and outside in the zone, caught a lot of plate, and a silky smooth swing. Now bringing up Jace Miller. 3rd year as a Bend Elk, his 2nd game this season after making his comeback last night. And Miller will jump on the first pitch and ground it up the middle. Murphy gets the wave around 3rd. The throw in from Morosco in time. A hose from center. And Miller moves up to 2nd on the back end. Wow. A risky send from Johnny Kemp. And Murphy is cut down. That's a tough break with the Elks starting off so strong. But still, good job by Miller moving up to 2nd and switching spots with Murphy. Marcus Galvin will take a pitch low. Elks looking to strike first during this losing streak. They've had a lot of moments where they've fallen behind early, and it's been tough to come back from. Fastball misses up. There is a massive overshift on now for Marcus Galvin, as the second baseman in Rents is in shallow right field, essentially vacating the entire middle of the infield. You see that there. Got the scouting report clearly as Galvin checks his swing, called the strike on location by our home plate umpire tonight, Thomas Glynn. On the bases is Michael Ames. Same crew last night, just flip-flop this time around. Miller on 2nd with 1 gone. Galvin, high chopper, back to Silva. Tough play, no play. An infield single by Marcus Galvin. The exit velo wasn't even picked up, it was hit so softly. But the beauty of baseball is you can do it in a multitude of ways. Just chopped it. I think that was off the plate, and Silva had none chance. Now for the first time as a Bend Elk, Travis Friend. Tonight's starting center fielder for Bend. Friend will take up and outside. The Elks have also, in these run batted in situations, been at the bottom of the league. Situational hitting has abandoned them. Friend here, grounds one. Off the glove of the third baseman in Hammond. His throw to first in time. But Jace Miller comes in to score, and the Bend Elks have a 1-0 lead. There were oohs and ahs, but it did look like Travis Friend was out at first. Hammond, a really good job by staying with that baseball. And he made a strong throw and was out by a good bit. I'm sure Michael Ames was thinking, why is this crowd booing me? Sanders takes down and away. One 0. Sanders takes up and away. Very encouraging start for these Bend Elks offensively. 3 hits this frame, and then Travis Friend hit that ball hard on the ground. They're seeing the young lefty and Ari Silva well. 2-0 to Sanders. Fouled away. Souvenir as Pierce gets that baseball. You see this great crowd tonight on hand. Saturday night baseball. And I swear that the last couple of times we've been at Genna, there truly has been 0 clouds. Picturesque. 2-1 changeup, misses high. Tonight is stitch crochet. Well, we'll call it stitch and pitch night, provided by Wooltown. So my challenge for Pierce is to go around the stadium tonight and see if there's somebody knitting. Did they listen to the promo? We wanted an on-field promotion to be how fast can the players knit a small scarf maybe. It'd be practically impossible, you feel like. 3-2. Change up, cold, strike 3. Just got the black. And that will end the inning. The Oaks only get 1, but still a really nice start. And going back to the top half of the frame, Ryan McDougall got that momentum going for the Elks. And then when the bats came up, Jackson Murphy, welcome to Bend. Before I could even tell your story, you double down the left field line. Jace Miller was up after him. He singled, but there was throw out at the plate. That then brought up the lefty Marcus Galvin, who chopped one high into the air, so high that it batted down near the third baseline, and Ari Silva had no chance. Travis Friend came up. All you got to do in this case was put a ball in play. He did so and hit a ball hard. Just had to stay out of the double play. It was booted by Hammond for a second, was thrown out at first, but brought in a run. 3 hits on the frame, and we'll keep you here. Good start. You don't want to count your chickens if you're the Elks just because of how tumultuous this season has been thus far, but you get a new face in there at the top, and Jackson Murphy. Jace Miller is swinging the ball, swinging the bat well, hitting the ball well. And then Travis Friend hit that ball well on the ground. McDougall went through the Corvallis Knights in order in the top half of the first. So hitters 4, 5, and 6 coming up this frame, starting with Zane Garvey, the lefty. McDougall nods and fires. Fastball that's called a strike at the bell. Zane Garvey last night could have left his bat at home, as he ended up walking 5 straight times. He singled in his first AB and then walked the next 5 at-bats. McDougal right now, though, looks sharp. Another filthy breaking ball. Garvey's been great in the middle of this order. Elks looking to stifle him. Fouls it away. Zane Garvey from Western Oregon. Originally from Beaverton, went to Southridge High School. 0-2 fastball misses up. And the numbers for him at Western were good at the plate. I'd say the same about his 2025 season. Hit over 300 in the 2 years at Western Oregon. Also did some pitching, but that side of the ball was a bit more rocky, as McDougal just misses off the edge of the plate at 90. Murphy stays alive. Good job by the umpire, because that was just a hair off. Breaking ball just missed up. Now full count. Zane Garvey was quite used to these 3-ball counts a night ago. How about it? In at-bat number 1 finds himself in another. Base on balls. 6 straight plate appearances for Zane Garvey with a walk. That's unheard of. I believe he also did not swing at any pitch in that AB. Now Josh Natai. Garvey off of first. Natai will take low. These walks have been a big story for the Bend Elks, and I think 5-1 batter tells it at least partially, but overall the free passes have really gotten the Elks behind. That fastball misses low. If my book is correct, I count 13 walks yesterday. That is a lot of free bases. Natai, tonight's beer batter, will flip the 2-0 into shallow center, and it's down for a base hit. The leadoff walk getting McDougal in trouble. Now there's runners on first and second with nobody out. That was just a jam sandwich. He fisted into center field. Tough break for McDougal on a ball that wasn't hit hard. With a couple ducks on the pond, it's the lefty Archer Horn, one of the most highly touted prospects in the entire West Coast League. Will take a fastball at the knees for a strike. Horn in last night's game went deep in the 8th inning on an extremely impressive swing of the bat to the opposite field. Sometimes it just looks and sounds a little bit different, and you feel that way about Archer. Dancing off a second is Garvey. 0-1. Popped up, foul, and out of play. Archer Horn committed to Stanford for next season. And I told the story yesterday, but a year ago, the Corvallis Knights had another highly touted prospect committed to Stanford in Brock Kettleson, and he ended up being one of the best players in the WCL. McDougal with a waste pitch up on the fastball. Archer Horn, according to MLB.com, is the 67th best MLB draft prospect going into the draft, which is now less than a month away. Dougal's curveball misses up. And with Brooke Knight putting him at this part of the order, he sees a lot of good pitches. the luxury of having some mashers at the top. The big moments here for McDougal. 2-2 with nobody out. And after being ahead 0-2, Horn has worked it all the way to a full count. Already a big pitch in this game coming here in the second. Garvey on 2, the tie on first. And Horn in a full count. McDougal will step off, and that's a good strategy to take control of a big moment like this. Looking for that money pitch. McDougal's payoff. Runners on the move. Fastball popped up, foul, and out of play. We'll do it again. Born from St. Ignatius High School in California, where he just wrapped up his senior season. Pops up the 3-2 again, and another souvenir as Horn continues to fight. A tough out. Just a super balanced prospect across the board and has already shown flashes of that in just one game here at Genna. McDougal working hard. Now 30 pitches he's at on the count. That's laced deep into right center field. Nobody's going to be there, and it one hops the wall. 2 runs are going to score. Archer Horn is motoring his way to third. There's going to be a play there, and he's out. A good relay from Friend to Jones to Alfaro, but Archer Horn hit that ball 104 off the bat and gives the Knights a 2-0 lead. McDougal had to come in the 3-2 count, and it was middle. Horn's eyes lit up. He was already protected and took full advantage. That is a deep part of the yard. We don't see balls one hop the track here in center very much. An impressive swing of the bat, but got greedy trying to take 3. So Horn's impressive series continues. That's his 4th and 5th runs batted in of this series. Bringing up Xavier Rios. 2-0's called the strike. Rios showcasing how the bottom of this Knights order can really mash. 4 runs batted in and 865 OPS. 2-1 is fouled straight back. Sends Cal State Northridge from Castro Valley, California. Hit .214 this last year, just 56 ABs. But he flips that one down the right field line, a fair ball. Will hit first and head to second. Murphy will pick it up with the bare hand. His throw goes to the cutoff man. Another extra base hit for the Knights. You think if Archer Horn just ended up holding up at second, the Corvallis Knights would right now be up 3-1. So a break for the Elks. Make that 3 straight hits for the Knights as the first pitch to Farah misses high. McDougal was cruising in the first inning. Those walks, they've come back to bite the Elks, and the same can be said for this second. Jackson Farron, his first AB last night, had an RBI double. Take a strike here. Four runs batted in. Numbers down for Farah, but tall outfielder with a lot of power. Take a fastball up and away. Lynn Benton Community College. Hit .217 there this last year. Dancing off a second is Rios. His 2-1 is swung through at the top of the zone. So it was, let's wear the same fit to the ballpark tonight for this group of 5. I wonder if they're drinking the same beer too. Maybe not. All Pacifico? Same car, same socks? I don't know. That one line into right field. It's in front of Murphy for a base hit. Skips high off his glove. This will easily score Xavier Rios. 3-1. An RBI single from Jackson Farah, forcing Wes Harper's hand. That was a tough hop off the outfield grass. Kicked high, and Murphy fortunate to keep it in front of him. Let's go back to that group of guys. I want to examine the shirts a little more during this mound visit. Wes will depart. So Pierce is telling me they have different beer, but they all got the sunglasses memo. And no, guy back left has jeans. Well, if they're Goldeneye, oh, there's 6 of them. Wait, I feel like they're multiplying in front of my eyes. 7? I saw 5 initially. Next time I look, there will be 9, all in the same shirt. So Tate Hammond will hit. That is a first. We are on game number 13. First time there's been a collection of buddies rocking the same tee. Hammond was in the 9th spot on Friday as well, had himself 2 runs batted in. For the Knights, top 2 in the entire West Coast League in batting average, and a lot of that has been because of how deep this lineup is, 1 through 9. Whole lot of productivity. Foul tipped into the mitt, runner stealing, perfect throw down to second is in time. Jordan Ortiz showing off the hose. There's 2 outs. You could not have drawn up a better throw. Ortiz started on the one knee and still popped up and delivered a strike. Is now McDougal's going to work himself out of the frame. Ground ball to Jones. And the Elks will get the bats back up. But 3 runs on 4 hits from the Corvallis Knights. The big swing. Archer Horns, 2 RBI double. He tried to stretch it into 3. And then Jackson Farah came through with an RBI of his own. To the bottom of the second, Elks trail by 2. And we're back after this on Bend Elks YouTube. Home half of the second inning. Vinny catching up with some kids. We're here on a Saturday night. So they went for the high five, fist bump. That's as awkward as it gets. Hate that. Here's Jordan Ortiz. Fouls it away. What's the go-to? Is it high five, fist bump, dap? I mean, you could get caught in between. This is Jordan Ortiz's first West Coast League game. Came over this past week and played in a non-league out of LMU, one of 3 LMU Lions on this roster. Saw Travis Friend batting the first, Jordan Ortiz, and then Richie Klosik, of course. Big hack and a miss on the 1-1. Ortiz, Alfaro, and Jones do up this frame against the lefty and Ari Silva, who they got to in the first. A lot of hard hit contact. Ortiz will take up and away. So I didn't know it was Jordan when I was playing pickup basketball the other day. I kid you not. He dunked a ball and his head was over the rim. And I was like, who is this? And then I realized it was Jordan Ortiz. So if you're wondering, he's a hooper too. Can jump out of the gym. From San Jose, California, and went to Valley Christian High School in the WCAL, an ultra-competitive conference with loads of D1 talent. Silva's 3-2. Sprayed foul. Pass David Diaz, tonight's first base coach for the Elks, and it trickles all the way down to the end of that bullpen. Johnny Kemp over there at third, per usual. Ortiz with a good at-bat and a leadoff walk. Bat boy tonight for the Bend Elks is locked in. Giving him an extra piece of gum are the Elks for that performance. You know, when they race for the ball behind home plate, that happens quite often from both sides. I've got money on the Bend Elks guy tonight. Here's Eddie Alfaro. Take a strike at the top of the zone. We saw what happened when Ryan McDougall walked the leadoff man for the Knights in the second inning. It turned into a 3-spot for Corvallis, so the Elks seeking to do the same. Alfaro will foul away the 0-1. Similar to Eddie, first league game for him, as we'll take a look for the Corvallis defense. Farah, Morosco, Garvey, Hammond and Horn, Brents and Flores, and then Rios doing the catching. 0-2, flared, shallow right center field. Trailing over is the right fielder and Garvey, and he'll make the catch. Wasn't hit particularly hard, and Garvey was shaded in and right, so was able to get there. Now it's Braden Jones. Jones has had a couple of nights off. Middle infielder in the portal from Tacoma Community College. And he flips that one into shallow left, the dive and the catch from Farah. Taking away a hit from Braden Jones. He was already naturally playing in and made a nice play, lunging to his right. Jones still getting some high fives coming back to the dugout. That was a bit unlucky. Dimitri Sisidko will hit with 2 gone. Silva will throw over to check on Ortiz, who's back with the dive. Caught up with Dmitry Sisidko pregame. And he has just found a way to constantly get hits. Batting .571 on the season, committed to Coppin State. Runner on the move, fastball misses in tight, throw down a second, not in time. The catcher, Jordan Ortiz, swipes it back and puts himself in scoring position. I was going to say, he looked like he had that look in his eyes over there at first. And with 2 outs, you feel comfortable with Sisidko coming up to start the next frame if Ortiz were to be thrown out there. Now a base hit would bring in a run. Sisidko pops it up, shallow right center. Garvey and Morosco coming together, and Morosco makes the catch to end the inning. The Elks cannot bring that lead-off walk around. They strand Jordan Ortiz on second. 3-1 the score. Home half, or top of the third rather, coming up after this. Joey Morosco made the play to end the bottom of the second, and now he leads off the top of the third in a 3-1 Knights lead. Take outside on the slider. Punched out looking his first time through, and Ryan McDougall's stuff was as sharp as ever. Looking to get back to that mode. 1-0 heaters called a strike. Last frame for McDougall was rocky. And the Elks would have hoped to bring in Ortiz in the last frame to answer back. But that lead still for Corvallis stands at 2. As the 1-1's popped up, foul and out of play. Joey Morosco has been flashing that leather defensively in center field. Made a couple of nice plays, the outfielder out of George Fox. Spikes a fastball all the way back to the backstop, and it bounced perfectly into the right hand of Joey Morosco in the box. That is unbelievable. He barely had to move a muscle and just caught it. Slight choke up on the bat from the right side. Right to the third baseman in Alfaro, and he makes the catch. Just one small step in, and Alfaro squeezed it. Good start to the third for McDougall. Now Berkeley Rentz, who will Take down and in tight. That was a peculiar bounce. It looked like might have hit him on the foot. But he'll stay in the box. Also from George Fox. Let's take a replay at that. That was a weird one. I feel like it had to have hit the foot to bounce the direction that it did. But maybe Rentz decided, well, if the ump didn't say anything, I'm not going to because I want to hit. Rounded out his first time through, the 5'7" middle infielder from Wilsonville, Oregon. Big swing and a miss, 2-2. Just 19 at-bats at George Fox this last year. Numbers have been much better, though, in Corvallis. As McDougall have to keep it going. That one was just fouled away. Got him swinging. Ryan McDougall climbs the ladder at 91. And there's 2 outs. His third punch out of the night, and that fastball, when it's working for Ryan, his best pitch. Now Chance Flores. Take a strike at the bottom of the zone. The Elks will look for some length out of Ryan McDougall. Their starter last night in Jackson Kendall only went 3 2/3. They were forced to use 4 arms out of the bullpen. Flores hits that one foul up the right field line. Trickling near that bullpen again. Those walks, though, really would hurt the Elks. It's like Tyler Jackson was jogging down there to pick up the ball, and now he does. That fastball just missed high, and Ortiz popped out of the squat. McDougall thought he had strike 3, and Thomas Glynn said not so fast. His time is now called, as Zane Garvey is told to go closer to the on-deck circle. That's a good catch by base umpire Michael Ames. As you can still tell, he is awfully close to the batter. Not so much anymore, but he was creeping almost into the sight of Ryan McDougall. Breaking ball misses up, 3-2. Still 3-1 the score, Corvallis on top. Winners of 3 straight entering tonight, 8-4 in the WCL, and the Elks 3-7. In dire need of a win. Payoff. Fouled away. I mean, you see there how close Zane Garvey is. Ryan McDougall absolutely, in that case, saw him in his peripheral vision. And he got Flores swinging down and away. Got the sword out. A filthy breaker. And Flores on the half-hearted attempt. Goes down swinging McDougall's 4th K. Good frame from the righty. Elks need some offense. Bottom 3 coming up. Bottom of the third inning, Elks trail by 2. Aiden O'Neill up here in the broadcast booth. Thanks so much for joining us. After Jackson Murphy's first at-bat, he doubled. That OPS is at 3,000. Let's keep it there, Jackson. Murphy, Miller, and Galvin, 1, 2, and 3 against the lefty and Silva. We'll take down and away. A big overshift on for this lefty, too, and Murphy, incoming senior, wrapped up his last season at UC Davis from Fresno, California. Sky the 1-1 to Morosco in center field, who comes in a couple of steps and makes the catch. Bringing up Jace Miller. Third year with the Bend Elks. And even though those numbers hasn't had a lot to show for it in just one game, seeing the ball really well in his at-bats last night. Hit the ball hard in each of them and had a smoked single up the middle in the first tonight. Take a changeup on the outside corner for a strike. Silva's been a bit of an escape artist so far. Has pitched with a runner on base in each frame, but has done a good job getting out of it. Miller will take high. In the transfer portal for his final season of eligibility. After last year in Corvallis. And no one knows this rivalry and the stories behind it, the drama, more than Jace Miller, who was in the thick of it a year ago. And it's pretty full circle now that after playing in Corvallis this last season for college, now his first year back with the Elks is against the Knights. This will swing and miss at the 3-1, a big hack and a miss. His .379 average won the batting title in 2025. Chop that one. Just fair inside the third base line. Hammond will field his throw to first. Just gets Miller. And there's 2 outs. Did get him in time. A stretch by Flores on the back end. Bringing up Marcus Galvin. After this frame, I'll turn it over to Mike Parker, legendary Oregon State broadcaster, doing the middle innings. Was happy that Mike was able to do that last night as well. We'll be doing it tomorrow, too. So for all you Knights fans on our stream now, Mike will be here shortly. Galvin will take one on the outside corner for a strike. Marcus, his first time through, singled. And that was the one that is called a single, but it felt like a swinging bunt. 1-2. Ari Silva has found something with that breaking ball. A lot of great young players on this Corvallis team. Brooke Knight recruiting them over to Corvallis, and it's played dividend. Galvin takes down and away. Has been in the middle of this order, Galvin has, because of his ability to really put the ball in play. And with runners on base, there's not many other batters you want up besides Galvin. He'll take just away on a pitch that, in all honesty, should have been called strike 3. A perfect changeup by Silva. Galvin gets another shot. The payoff. Flipped foul. Galvin will stay alive, and that bullpen has been getting a lot of action. I feel like each one of those foul balls has rolled into nearly the same spot. That looks like Jabari Simon starting to stretch. Galvin skies the 3-2 into shallow center. Could be trouble. Marasco coming in makes the catch. And that will end the inning. The Elks go down in order. 4th inning after this. Top of the 4th inning, 3-1 Knights on top. Ryan McDougall rolling along. Pitch count in the mid-60s. You see the batter in Zane Garvey, who will take high. Feels like McDougall finally starting to settle in. Had a really good 1st inning. 2nd was a bit up and down, and then the 3rd frame also clean. Garvey will take a strike. Walked his 1st time through. And the last 6 at-bats for Zane Garvey has reached on a base on balls. Whether intentional or not, these Elks pitchers have wanted no part of number 6. Fastball misses up and in tight. Three-one. Fastball, skied, left field, trailing towards the line and falls in for a base hit in front of Sisitko. Garvey's going to put on the brakes and stay at first. A lead-off single for the Knights. Gets them going in the 4th. And with that, I'll pass it over to the beloved Mike Parker, Corvallis Knights broadcaster, for the middle innings. Mike, take it away.
And thank you for the transition and the kind words. Again, I appreciate it. It's great to be here. Trying to deal with the mechanics of my family arriving late, hoping to have tickets to come in, and I took care of that while Aiden was doing an excellent job of describing Zane Garvey finally getting off the walk. He had walked 6 consecutive times, finally got a pitch to hit and dunked it down the left field line for a base hit to lead things off for the Corvallis Knights in the top of the 4th inning. The Knights leading 3-1. Josh Natai, the batter, the first pitch to Josh, who had 4 RBIs last night, a couple of 2-run singles. Josh punched a single into center field and scored a run in the Knights' 3-run second. A throw to first base, Garvey back. 1 ball and no strikes to Natai, and now a wild pitch will send Zane Garvey down to second base. Zane in scoring position for Natai, who had 4 runs batted in last night but had a chance for about 10. I was talking with several members of the Knights this morning who were talking about Josh had 4, which is a good night, but he was up there a couple of times with the bases loaded. Settled for 4. That's not a bad place to settle. 3-1 Knights in the 4th inning. McDougall to the plate. Josh taps it foul at the plate. The count 2 balls and a strike to Josh Natai. The Knights and Elks on a beautiful breezy day, and my family so grateful that they're here. As I mentioned last night, we've spent many a beautiful evening in this ballpark and love making the trip over. 2 balls and a strike, 3-1 Knights in the fourth. Zane Garvey at second, nobody out. McDougal to the plate. The 2-1 pitch is in the turf to Josh Natai, ball 3. Archer Horn on deck. And today we had the joy with, I think, the entire city of Bend, the entire population of Central Oregon, of floating the river. Everybody seemed to be in it on this beautiful warm day here in Bend. The pitch to Natai, chopped foul, but it is a great experience we've enjoyed many times, including the last time we were here 2 years ago. The rapids that they put in near the amphitheater and so on, just a really memorable, wonderful experience. Very crowded just to get into that rapid chute. Big traffic jam. 1 ball, no balls and 2 strikes to Josh Natai, who swings and doesn't get it. Strike 3, and he is the beer batter for the night, and Natai is the most popular player at Vince Genna Stadium. And fans already getting up and making their way for discounted adult beverages. Another way of saying the beer batter has come through and struck out. Zane Garvey remains at second. For Josh, a disappointing plate appearance in that he needed to get Garvey moved, instead strikes out. Zane still at second with 1 away. Archer Horn, one of the more impressive hits of the season, at least the young season that I've seen for the Knights here in 2026, only the 4th game. The Knights have won all 3, but Archer smashed to center field in the second against the wind, going all the way to the base of the fence in dead center. Wow, well struck. He takes a strike from McDougal here. 3-1 Knights in the fourth. Garvey getting his lead from second. McDougal back to the plate with the 0-1 pitch, which catches the outside corner. Archer turns and appears to be remonstrating with the home plate umpire and clarifies something with the home plate arbiter. I'm not sure if it's, well, are you sure? Is that the outer limits? With apologies to the outstanding black and white TV show from the 60s, the best episode with David McCallum. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, but that probably was the outer limits of the strike zone, and I think that's what Archer was perhaps trying to confirm. The 0-2 pitch to Archer misses high. 1-2 the count. 3-1 Knights in the fourth. Zane Garvey at second, 1 out. Archer's last swing creating a little bit more depth from Travis Friend in straightaway center field, with Archer's ball carrying over his head. The last time around, the 1-2 breaking ball is in the turf. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Breezy and pleasant evening here at beautiful Vince Genna Stadium. Vince Genna, one of the great places for the game of baseball in our state and ever, as far as I'm concerned. No better view in all of stadia around America than the one afforded us here. The 2-2 pitch down and away, ball 3. 3-2 to Archer Horn. Vince Genna was the director of Parks and Recreation, as all of you locally know and appreciate and understand, 1964 to 1990, and secured 1,500 acres for parks, fields, and trails. Stadium opened in 1946. Mr. Baseball, the late, great Vince Genna, it's an honor to be here tonight. The 3-2 pitch to Archer Horn, ball 4. The ball glances away from Jordan Ortiz. He can't find it. McDougal comes to the rescue, racing in from the mound to get the ball in foul territory near his own dugout, lest Garvey would have had a notion to round third and try to score on a ball 4 wild pitch. Archer Horn down to first. Garvey goes to third base on the second wild pitch of the inning, and that picks up the spirits of Josh Natai, I would think, a little bit, and that the Knights have runners at first and third and 1 out. and an opportunity for Xavier Rios to pick up an RBI with an out. And first pitch is in the turf, and again Ortiz having trouble finding the ball, and on the third wild pitch of the inning, Archer Horn down to second. McDougal's stuff tough to handle, clearly, for Jordan Ortiz here in the top of the fourth inning. 1 ball and no strikes. McDougal's been a little bit yin and yang here. Good first inning, a bad second inning, a good third, and things not so good so far here in the fourth. He delivers a strike to Xavier, and the count 1-1. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Knights. A run, 3 hits, an error for the Bend Elks. Zane Garvey at third, Archer Horn at second, the infield at normal depth. McDougal works from the stretch. Ryan to the plate. Fastball swung on and missed. And the count 1-2. Jackson Farah on deck. McDougal with a good fastball. He's been anywhere 88 to 92 tonight, maybe a touch 93. Fans going to their second layer of clothing as I look out of the press box window. The breeze is picking up, temperature dropping. The 1-2 pitch on the way, very high, ball 2, 2-2. Over on Chandler today at a local Safeway, one of the clerks was complaining, saying it's going to be 88 today, it's going to be 93 tomorrow. I think they're a little hyperbole there, an exaggeration. I think today's high was 79. Beautiful, warm, pleasant, but certainly less than what the checker indicated. The 2-2 pitch on the way, breaking ball outside, ball 3, 3-2. But it is a magnificent view again here in the pleasant conditions of this Saturday night at 7:40. Teams will wrap up the series tomorrow here at 5:05. And seniors, happy for you, happy to be among you. $2 off all tickets for senior citizens tomorrow for the 5:05 game. The 3-2 pitch, McDougal misses, down and away, ball 4. Really good plate appearance for Xavier Rios, working a 1-2 count ultimately into a free pass. Back-to-back walks and 3 wild pitches in the inning, and catcher Jordan Ortiz, I think, has been instructed to go out. I'm going to ask my man Pierce. There's so many things in here. I feel like I'm trying to fly a plane with all the monitors and screens, and that's beyond my capability. Is there somebody in your bullpen throwing? That's what I'm asking. You have a bullpen view, and the producer, Pierce, looks down. Does that mean no? Okay, thank you. Really cool stuff. I mean, this is great. Like I said last night, I could get used to it, but I need to learn how this whole thing runs up here. And Aiden O'Neill kind enough to let me work with you and kind of just an old-fashioned radio cast, but plenty of great tools at the disposal on this Bend Elks live stream that I'm just trying to get a little bit used to in the brief time that I have. Honored to be on the air with you in this great part of the world. Now, that was a preliminary talk with Jordan Ortiz going out. Now the head coach, Alan Cox, goes out. And just because somebody wasn't throwing, at least when we glance, doesn't mean that we're not going to see a pitching change break. We are. The Elks will go to the bullpen. Ryan McDougal sees his control betray him here in the inning with 3 wild pitches and a couple of walks. And this left-hand heavy Corvallis Knights lineup will see a left-handed pitcher coming in. And as he does so, we will take a 90-second pitching change break. The Knights leading 3-1. Have the bases loaded and 1 out for Jackson Farah. Back in 90 on the Bend Elks live stream and Joe Radio. Back at Vince Genna Stadium, Jackson Ashley from Gonzaga, rangy left-hander, about to make his 2026 Bend Elks debut, and he inherits a sticky situation, to be sure. The Knights leading 3-1, and Corvallis has the bases loaded with one out. And the left-hand hitting Jackson Farah at the plate. Jackson singled to right field in his first at-bat. The Elks trying to hang in. Last night they showed some admirable spirit, down 8-0 in the middle innings, rallied to pull with an 8-4 at one point. The Knights eventually pulled away to win 13-5, but an important sequence right here coming up for Jackson Ashley and the Bend Elks. The first pitch outside and dropped by Jordan Ortiz. It has been a tough inning for the Elks receiver. 1 ball and no strikes the count. The infield a double play depth for Bend with the bases loaded and 1 out. 3-1 Knights trying to separate here in the fourth. Ground ball to second, fielded by Braden Jones. He goes to Sanders for 1, on to first, double play. The inning is over. Brooke Knight didn't think so, and he stares out at the base umpire. But there is no review process in the West Coast League, and the double play stands, and a great job by Jackson Ashley coming in to induce an inning-ending double play ball, 4-6-3. The Knights threaten, come up empty, and at the end of 3.5, it remains the Knights 3 and the Elks 1. Back in 60 seconds on the Elks live stream and Joe Radio. Bottom of the fourth inning, 3-1 Knights. Excellent job by Jackson Ashley, inducing an inning-ending double play ball. Taking over for Ryan McDougal. And the Knights come to the plate. The Elks, I should say, come to the plate in the bottom of the fourth inning, leading 3-1, left-hander Ari Silva. Ready to go to Eli Pupo. And I assume, and I haven't heard, Pupo pinch hitting? Will lead it off. Travis Friend had started the ball game, had an RBI ground out in the first. Eli Pupo hitting here in the bottom of the fourth. Takes just outside, ball 1. Left on left, Silva back to the plate. The 1-0 fastball high, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes to Eli Pupo, hitting .250 with 3 runs batted in. 3-1 Corvallis, bottom of the fourth inning. Silva's 2-0 pitch, very high, ball 3. 3-0. Eli Pupo, Troy Sanders, and Jordan Ortiz, the scheduled hitters for Alan Cox's Elks in the fourth. The 3-0 pitch is down the middle for a strike. 3-1 to Eli Pupo. Series finale tomorrow at 5:05. The 3-1 pitch, very high and inside, ball 4. Tough start for the left-hander Ari Silva issuing a leadoff walk in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Troy Sanders will come to the plate. Eli Pupo, summering out of nearby Redmond, went to Redmond High School. Gets his lead from first, and he gets a good secondary lead. The pitch was in the turf, and the throw down to second base is not in time. Nice lead by Pupo. He was ready to go, and as soon as he saw a ball in the turf in front of Knights catcher Xavier Rios, he broke for second and got in safely. A wild pitch. That seems to be a theme here in the 4th. 3 of them uncorked by Ryan McDougall. Eli Pupo at second base on the wild pitch. Troy Sanders with a count of 1 ball and no strikes. Trying to draw the Elks closer. Silva to the plate, way outside. Ball 2, 2-0. Bo Kearns, I think, is going to come out and pay a visit. And he is. The Knights pitching coach watching ball 4. Wild pitch. 2-0 to Sanders. And time to try to help Ari Silva get back into a groove and change the tempo up a little bit. With a count of 2 balls and no strikes, the Knights leading 3-1. Talking about, as we did yesterday, the tremendous tradition of playoff baseball between Corvallis and Bend. After meeting 4 consecutive years, and then again in 2014 and 2015, a 10-year hiatus until last year's postseason. But perhaps the most memorable postseason because of what it meant for the 2 communities, but Bend in particular, 11 years ago in the summer of 2015 when Bend won its only West Coast League championship over the Corvallis Knights in the divisional series, went on to win the whole thing that summer. Troy Sanders at the plate with a count of 2 balls and no strikes, and the 2-0 pitch misses for ball 3, 3-0. That was a series that featured 2 of the best players ever to come through this league and 2 of the best players in Oregon State baseball history against each other. There goes the runner to third. The 3-0 pitch is in there for a strike, and a good jump by Eli Pupo. He's in safely. 3-1 to Sanders. Pupo has done an excellent job coming off the bench to pinch hit, drawing a walk. Good secondary lead enables him to pick up second base on the wild pitch, and now steals third. 3-1 to Sanders. That summer of 2015 and the playoffs featured 2 great shortstops in this league. Caden Grenier for the Bend Elks, Nick Madrigal for the Corvallis Knights. Grenier and the Elks prevailed in the series. The 3-1 pitch in there for a strike, and the count 3-2. And both had wonderful experiences in this league, and much like Jacoby Ellsbury and others, decided to continue their collegiate experience, and Madrigal and Grenier both went on to Oregon State. You may recall did some pretty good things. The 3-2 pitch gets away from Xavier Rios, and Eli Pupo essentially steals a run. He comes down the line to score on ball 4. It's now 3-2 Knights, but that's all on Eli Pupo. Tremendous base running, throwback base running. Yeah, the old days of the Go-Go White Sox with Luis Aparicio, or Maury Wills and the Dodgers, Jackie Robinson with the Brooklyn Dodgers. Get on base and wreak havoc. And Eli Pupo deserves all the credit for that run that draws the Elks to within a run at 3-2. A walk, picked up 90 on a wild pitch, stole third, and comes home on another wild pitch. So we've seen 5 wild pitches in this 4th inning. 3 by McDougall, now 2, unless it goes past ball. And I want to check, was that pass ball or wild pitch? It's going to go past ball, so scratch one of the wild pitches out. But 4 is plenty. 3-2, the score. The Knights lead trimmed to 1. Jordan Ortiz swings and fouls one back. 0-1 the count. It was a sheer delight to see Madrigal and Grenier in the summer of 2015 playing in this league and against one another. I remember Pat Casey, the Oregon State head coach, saying that he hoped to get one of them to not sign and come to Oregon State, not sign professionally. The strike one pitch to Ortiz in there for strike two. He said, if we just get one of them, it's a win, either one. And he said it was beyond his wildest dreams that both would eschew signing and come to the Beavers, and the rest is history. Throw to first base, and it's a bad throw that will enable Troy Sanders to go to second and round second on his way to third. The throw is not in time, and the tying run 90 feet away, in a crazy inning for the Knights in terms of what Bend is doing to them on the base paths. Troy Sanders going to third base on a two-base throwing error on Ari Silva. And the tying run is 90 feet away with nobody out. And a count of no balls and 2 strikes to Jordan Ortiz. The Knights bring the infield in. The strike 2 pitch is outside, ball 1, 1-2. Both were outstanding shortstops, Caden Grenier and Nick Madrigal. Caden had the slightly stronger arm, and so it's not a bad fallback position for Pat Casey to put Grenier at short and Madrigal at second. The 1-2 pitch, a ground ball to the shortstop, Archer Horn. He throws to the plate, not in time. Horn firing to Xavier Rios. Brook Knight's going to come out and argue the call. The throw was on target, and Rios appeared to get the tag down on Troy Sanders. And Brook's going to take up the argument but not win it. It's a 3-3 tie. And all of what's gone on here in the fourth, a function of good base running by the Bend Elks. Brook registers his complaint, and perhaps that's just a futures kind of argument on his part, hoping to get the next call. And Brook is asking for time and will make a visit here now. The Knights do have a right-hander in Mark Carpenter throwing in the bullpen, and that's going to be the end of the line for Brook Knight. He was on his way to the mound anyway, took a little pit stop to engage with the home plate umpire about the call at the plate. But a good outing for Ari Silva, spoiled a bit here in the fourth with back-to-back walks. And committing a wild pitch, giving up a pass ball from his battery mate, a throwing error. It's all added up to 2 runs and a tie ball game here in the bottom of the fourth. We'll take a 90-second pitching change break as Mark Carpenter comes into the ball game. The Elks have pulled even. A 3-3 tie in the bottom of the fourth, back in 90 on the Elks live stream and Joe Radio. A 3-3 tie in the bottom of the fourth inning. And trouble still abounding for the Corvallis Knights, who began the frame with a 3-1 lead, but Ari Silva, who had pitched a really good ball game, saw his control betray him here in the fourth. Eli Pupo is to be credited for catalyzing the inning. A great job by the pinch hitter. Pupo drew a walk, advanced to second with an aggressive lead on a wild pitch, stole third, scored on a pass ball. Troy Sanders walked, then drew an errant pickoff attempt from Ari Silva and ended up scoring on the fielder's choice off the bat of Jordan Ortiz. Archer Horn throwing to the plate. A good slide by Troy Sanders, getting him in to pull the Elks even. 3-3, bottom of the fourth. Mark Carpenter making his fourth appearance for the Knights. He's 1-1 with a record 1-1 and an ERA of 2.84. Has worked 6 1/3 innings. First pitch missing down and away to the right-hand hitting Eddie Alfaro out of Cal State San Bernardino. The 1-0 pitch swung on and missed by Eddie, with Mark Carpenter into the game, trying to fill up the zone and make sure the Knights don't relinquish a lead. They led 3-1 going into the frame. The pitch from Mark misses down and away. 2 balls and 1 strike the count. Mark Carpenter out of Ron Henderson country, Henley High School. 6'2", 190 freshman. I believe Hender went to Henley. He might have gone to K Falls. The pitch in there for a strike. And the count 2-2. Henley High School in Klamath Falls. Mark pitched in 7 games this past spring for Andy Peterson and Lynn Benton Community College. Pitch in there for a strike. 2-2 the count. 3-3, bottom of the fourth. A throw to first. A good throw and picked off at first base. Jordan Ortiz. He clearly was tipping his intentions and was going to be on the move. An excellent timing by Mark Carpenter to pick Ortiz off. The Knights get the first out of the inning. The count, meanwhile, 2-2 to Eddie Alfaro in a 3-3 tie in the bottom of the fourth. Breaking ball, a ground ball back of third, a fair ball. Hammond Fields throws across on a hop, and Chance Flores not able to dig it out. It'll be an error charge to Chance Flores for not playing that one hop throw skipped across by Tate Hammond cleanly. An error on Flores, and that'll bring Braden Jones out of Tacoma Community College to the plate. An excellent catch by Jackson Ferra on a sinking line drive off the bat of Braden in the second inning. Carpenter from the stretch, and the first pitch missing down and in, ball 1. 1-0 to Braden Jones. Braden out of Sparks, Nevada, left-handed hitter. The Elks showing real signs of life again. Last night they did in the middle innings from down 8-0 to pull within 8-4. The hole was just too deep. Not so tonight. The Elks have rallied from down 3-1 here in the fourth to tie. And Eddie Alfaro at first base with a 1-0 pitch missing to Braden, ball 2. Big crowd getting into it on this beautiful Saturday in Central Oregon. The 2-0 pitch is in there for a strike. 2-1 the count. Beautiful baseball history in this part of the world, and I'm indebted to, and I hope many of you have visited with the individual I'm about to mention over the years if you love baseball in this community. Another wild pitch. This will send Eddie Alfaro down to second. The ball going to the backstop past Xavier Rios. Fourth inning has indeed been a wild one for both teams. And on that wild pitch, the go-ahead run, Eddie Alfaro now in scoring position for Braden Jones with a count of 3-1. Last year, coming over for that playoff series, I had the pleasure of visiting with Vanessa Ivey. I hope you know her, those of you here in this community, the manager of the Deschutes County Historical Society and Museum. The 3-1 pitch is low and inside, ball 4. Braden Jones draws a walk, 2 on, 1 out. Dmitry Sisidko coming to the plate for Bend with a chance to take the lead in the bottom of the 4th inning of a 3-3 tie. Vanessa Ivey, the historian on so many things in this community and in the high desert area, but she regaled me with stories of the Bend Beauties, a 1903 women's baseball team. The same year that the Bend Bulletin came into existence, so did a team of women baseball players known as the Bend Beauties in 1903. He told me of Allie Reynolds pitching here, Johnny Pesky playing here, as we talked about last night. The pitch down and away to Dmitry Sisidko. 2 on, 1 out, bottom of the 4th, a 3-3 tie. Mark Carpenter from the stretch. The 1-0 pitch, breaking ball up and in. Ball 2, 2-0. And catcher Xavier Rios will head out to the mound to try to help Mark Carpenter find a groove. A 3-3 tie in the bottom of the 4th. 2 walks in the inning. Couple of wild pitches, an error, a stolen base, a pass ball. It's been an eventful frame. We've yet to see a hit in the inning. The Elks have scored 2 to pull even. 2 balls and no strikes the count before an anticipating sort of gathering. They want to see their Elks take the lead, the crowd getting into it. The pitch is a fastball strike from Mark Carpenter. A little bit of a delayed call that leads to a conversation now with Dmitry and the home plate umpire. It's been an affable evening with respect to hitters engaging in dialogue with the home plate arbiter. Eddie Alfaro at second, Braden Jones at first. The 2-1 pitch sprayed foul to the right off the bat of Dmitry, and that evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jack Gordon played and coached here with Bend, various eras of semi-pro ball and organized baseball. Jack Gordon, the Hall of Famer Joe Gordon's brother. A pickoff play to second base from Mark Carpenter, and getting back safely, Eddie Alfaro. But it is a deep and rich history of baseball here. Great team nicknames in the semi-pro era in the 20s here in Bend. The Elks, one of them. The Eagles, the Loggers, the Athletics. The Oregon State League Championship in 1928, Bend and Medford meeting. The 2-2 pitch to Dmitry Sisidko, fouled at the plate. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. And part of the crowd here tonight is a 4th-generation Oregon State Beaver fan who I don't think I've ever not seen him at a Bend Elks game. When the Knights are in town, he must come to a lot of them. Rick Elston, part of this gathering tonight. Beautiful Saturday evening in Bend, a 3-3 tie, bottom of the 4th. Mark Carpenter out of the stretch, another 2-2 pitch, a chopper foul back of third over the head of third base coach Johnny Kemp. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. One notable bit of history, the Bend Rainbows, 1970 and 71, affiliated with the California Angels. Kurt Russell, second baseman, hit .285. That's pretty good. The 2-2 pitch to Dmitry, pulled foul outside of third. Sisidko still up there. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 on and 1 out. Bottom of the 4th inning of a 3-3 tie. Kurt was a real athlete. Ended up obviously taking a different course, but his father, Bing, bought and ran the Portland Mavericks in the Northwest League 1973 through 77. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on and 1 out in this 3-3 tie. Mark Carpenter from the stretch and again throws to second baseman Berkeley Rentz covering on Eddie Alfaro. The count remains 2-2. Kurt, an outstanding baseball player, and showed it here in Bend in 1971. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mark Carpenter to the plate. A chopper to the hole, speared on a good play by Tate Hammond, goes to second for 1. On to first, not in time, but a good play by Tate, ranging to his left, and gets the force out on Braden Jones at second base. The fielder's choice, 5-4. 2 down. Runners at the corners with Eddie Alfaro going to third, and Jackson Murphy, the hitter. Jackson doubled in the first, flied to center in the third inning. And speaking of flying to center, the Gray Eagles soared to the peaks. Yes, he did. Tris Speaker. Joey Morosco taking a page out of the Gray Eagles playbook. Very shallow in center field. The pitch to Jackson Murphy. Low and in, ball 1, 1-0. Runners at the corners, 2 down. We'll see if the Elks might put a play on, make the Knights make a decision whether to throw through or not. The 1-0 pitch, missing high and away. Ball 2, 2-0. This inning, and the fact we have a tie ball game, primarily the work, the legs of Eli Pupo, putting a charge into his team, into the crowd, and has helped Ben pull even. The 2-0 pitch from Carpenter's high and away, ball 3, 3-0. Jace Miller on deck. Ari Silva appeared to be cruising along and very comfortable. Walked Pupo to open the inning, and Eli began to run wild. 3 balls and no strikes, first and third, 2 down in this 3-3 tie. Carpenter to the plate, down the middle for a strike, and the count 3-1. A strange 4th inning for both pitching staffs, and in fact, the 4th inning each of the last 2 nights has been adventuresome. First and third, 1 out. A throw to first base, and just getting back. Dimitri Susidko, Carpenter's only out in the inning, or an out, was on a pickoff play before the fielder's choice moments ago, and he nearly had another one. Susidko getting his lead, held on by Chance Flores. Susidko goes, a chopper to the right of the second baseman, Berkeley Rentz. The throw to first is not in time. It's a base hit, and now rounding third, coming to the plate is Susidko, trying to score, and is tagged out, and the inning is over. But that was the theme of the inning, aggressive base running, and with a runner going, that put Berkeley Rentz into a position to have only 1 play, and it was to first, and had no chance to get the out. At first, the only way he was going to get an out would have been to get Susidko, but Susidko was on the move. The Bend Elks take the lead. The out recorded at the plate on Susidko, so a strange kind of inning, but a base hit for Jackson Murphy on the infield single. The out recorded on Susidko to end the frame, but the Elks get 3 runs in the inning. And we go to the top of the 5th inning. At the end of 4, the Elks 4 and the Knights 3, back in 60 on the Bend Elks live stream and Joe Radio. Producer Pierce says that was a 13-minute bottom of the fourth inning. It was all of that, to be sure. The Elks get 3 runs to take the lead, 4-3. The scoreboard shows 6-3 in the 5th inning, and they're trying to get things worked out logistically on the scoreboard beyond the right field fence. But between, I don't know how many minutes the top of the inning was, but that too was a long one because of the walks and the wild pitches. So we'll see if it's any more orderly in the 5th, but as it turns out, a good 4th for the Bend Elks, with Jackson Ashley getting an inning-ending double play ball and watching his team score 3 for the lead. A chopper back up the middle, fielded by the second baseman, Braden Jones. Jones throws to first, and Tate Hammond is called out, much to the incredulity, disgust, consternation of Brooke Knight. Hammond appeared to be quite safe, but he's thrown out here. Hammond looked like he was across the bag when the first baseman, Jace Miller, caught the ball. Now, Pierce will watch the replay and tell me, but I think he's safe, Pierce. He's slowing it down. It's closer than I thought it was. Very close. Okay, the freeze frame says he's out. One of the greatest calls in the history of umpiring. Tate Hammond out, 4-3 on the first pitch of the top of the 5th inning. And Joey Morosco, the batter. Ashley's done an excellent job since coming in. He delivers a strike to Joey Morosco, does Ashley. Jackson got an inning-ending double play ball with a bases-loaded last inning. The Knights failed to extend the lead. It was 3-1. That enabled the Elks to come to the plate, down just 2. They scored 3 and lead it 4-3. The pitch to Morosco, lifted to straightaway center field. Eli Pupo, who is the catalyst for the rally, comes in to make the catch. Dare I say, quickly, 2 outs in the 5th. 4-3 Bend. Berkeley Rents the batter. Berkeley has grounded to second and struck out looking. Jackson Ashley restoring order, coming to the hill last inning, delivers a one-hopper to the shortstop, Troy Sanders. He throws to first, and after one of the longest half innings of the season, close to the shortest, turned in by Jackson Ashley. The Knights go in order. Good work by Ashley, who's retired all 4 batters that he's faced. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning on another beautiful evening here in Bend at Vince Genna Stadium. The Elks 4, the Knights 3. We'll be back in 60 on the Elks live stream. And in fact, we've got a pitching change, so we're going to go a little bit longer here to help take care of business back in Corvallis. The Knights bring in a new pitcher, and I think it's 19. It's so hard to see. It is 19. It's Jack Galanida. Jack Galanida, the new pitcher. We'll be back in 90 on the Bend Elks live stream and Joe Radio. 4-3 Bend as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Jack Gallanita, the new pitcher for the Knights, in the first pitch to Jace Miller. Jace, first ball swinging, taps it foul at the plate. No balls and a strike. We went, Pierce has just confirmed on the timing, from 30 and a half minutes for the 4th inning. It took 30 and a half minutes for the 4th. The strike one pitch from Gallanita swung on and missed. The Knights were at the plate for 17 minutes. There was a pitching change therein, and there was a pitching change in the bottom of the 4th. The Elks were up there for 13 and a half minutes of baseball. We just saw Jackson Ashley spin 2.5 minutes and 3 quick outs. Gallanita's change is swung on and missed. So it's the game of baseball, and one never knows from one inning to the next. We'll see if Jack can continue in this vein, but a 3-pitch punch-out of Jace Miller for Jack Gallanita. One away in the bottom of the 5th with the Elks leading 4-3, and Marcus Galvin, the hitter. Jack Gallanita making his 6th appearance, 1-0 with an ERA of 5.40. Jack delivers a first pitch strike, 0-1 the count in 10 innings. Jack has allowed 13 hits. He's walked 3, struck out 8. Gallanita rocks, kicks, and comes back to Galvin. The 0-1 pitch on the outside corner. Strike 2. We had pass balls, wild pitches, throwing errors, stolen bases. Wild action for both teams in the 4th. And a much more orderly 5th thus far. 4-3 Bend. The strike 2 pitch missing outside to Marcus Galvin. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Jack Gallanita, right-hander, out of George Fox. 6'3", 180-pounder. Comes to the plate. Gallanita delivers. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Jack Gallanita in the bottom of the 5th inning. And that'll bring to the plate Eli Pupo. And I reckon that Pupo is the key player in this ball game. Got a little John Anderson swinging going on in the background, which tells me that must be his walk-up song, which must mean he likes John Anderson, which must mean he likes Seminole Win, which means he has good taste. First pitch in there for a strike to Pupo, but it was Eli not swinging but walking last inning that opened the frame to 3 runs. Eli takes outside, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 outs, nobody on, bottom of the 5th. 4-3 Bend. Gallanita delivers down and away with the off-speed pitch. 2-1 the count. Jack out of Lake Balboa, California. I'm not exactly sure what that is. Again, that's one of those names and cities, towns. There are a few of them in the Golden State that until I wrote his name down and a little bit of notes on his origins, I'd never heard of. Ground ball to short. Fielded by Archer Horn. He smoothly twists the hips and throws over to first base for the out to retire the side. The Elks go in order, and after 30 and a half minutes, we'll have Pierce add it all up. But I think we just had about a 6-minute inning in the bottom half, in the top and bottom of the 5th. We go to the 6th. Mike Parker pinch hitting here for a few innings. Aiden O'Neill kind enough to share the booth with his outstanding producer, Pierce. We'll add up the minutes and talk about it as we go to the 6th. Bend 4, the Knights 3. Back in 1 minute on the Elks live stream and Joe Radio. Just as Lake Balboa, California is new unto me, so is Rogers State University, Claremore, Oklahoma. Now, I think I have written Rogers State down here and there over the years, but I could not in any wise, if somebody put the map of Oklahoma in front of me and said, pick out Claremore. Nah. Stillwater and Oklahoma City, I think I'd get pretty close. Claremore, no. But that's where Rogers State University is, and that is where the new pitcher for the Bend Elks, taking over for Jackson Ashley, who was outstanding, Christian Estep, into the ballgame for Bend, and will try to protect a 4-3 lead after tremendous work by Ashley, inducing an inning-ending double play ball with the bases loaded and the Knights leading 3-1 in the top of the fourth, and then taking care of the Knights in short order, 2.5 minutes worth. Yes, about 6 minutes of baseball in the fifth after 30 minutes between the two teams in the fourth inning. And that, as they say, that's baseball. The amount of variety from inning to inning, from game to game, incredible through the years. 4-3 Bend as we go to the sixth. Fastball from Estep misses high and inside to Chance Flores, the Knights' first baseman. Chance has struck out twice. 1 ball and no strikes. Christian Estep comes back to the plate with a 1-0 pitch. And the breaking ball bends in for a strike. 1-1 the count. Estep is making his fifth appearance, 5 2/3 innings, an ERA of 3.18, 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. Comes back to the plate and misses down and away. Ball 2, 2-1. 4-3 Bend, top of the sixth inning. The quick working Estep to the plate. A 2-hopper to the second baseman, Braden Jones. Fires to first in time to get Flores. 1 away. And after a bit of a struggle in the fourth, Ryan McDougall not commanding the zone, a couple of walks, 3 wild pitches. Since then, Jackson Ashley and now Christian Estep have combined to retire 5 in a row and kind of settle things down. Christian Estep ready to go, and the first pitch to the Knights' Zane Garvey. 2 for 2 in the series with 6 walks, is outside, ball 1, 1-0. Estep rocks and delivers. Ground ball wide of first, fielded by Jace Miller. Shovels the ball to Estep covering for out number 2. Quickly, 2 down in the top of the sixth, and Josh Natai will be the hitter. Christian Estep at Rogers State now, and at another institution before then, Northern Oklahoma College in Enid. And again, it would be beyond my powers to pinpoint Eden either. And not a great deal of time spent in the great state of Oklahoma for yours truly. In fact, only one time. Breaking ball strike to Josh Natai, the count 0-1. 2 down, nobody on, 4-3 in the sixth. Estep ready to go again. One of the quickest workers I've seen. He delivers another breaking ball for a strike in the count 0-2. Josh Natai, 2 down, nobody on, 4-3 Bend. That was for a basketball NCAA tournament game, NCAA men's tournament game in Oklahoma City. VCU beat Wayne Tinkle's Beavers in that 15-16 season, the only time I've been in the great Sooner State. The pitch to Natai missing. So I guess it's no shame to not know where Enid or what was the other one? Claremore is. The 1-2 pitch to Natai, chop foul at the plate. The count remains 1-2, 2 down. But Oklahoma, a legendary state indeed. The great song about Oklahoma, the Commerce Comet, the Oklahoma Kid, Johnny Bench, the 1-2 pitch down and away, ball 2, and the greatest athlete perhaps ever in American history, Sac and Fox tribe, the great Jim Thorpe from Oklahoma. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on, 4-3 Bend. The 2-2 pitch, Natai a grounder to the hole at short. backhanded by Sanders. He gets a throw off to first. In time, an amazing play by Troy Sanders from deep in the hole at short. A great play. Natai robbed of a base hit on a brilliant display of defense by Troy Sanders. Another 1-2-3 inning as Bend has found its mojo on the bump. And we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's still Bend 4 and the Knights 3 back in 60 on the Elks live stream and Joe Radio. Everybody in the press box watching the end of the NBA Finals as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning here. The Bend Elks leading the Corvallis Knights 4-3. The ever-popular Sing for Your Supper promotion going on within Genna Stadium. Not exactly sure how it all works, but somebody has sang for their supper. And Melvin Douglas, Martin Sheen. I never sang. Gene Hackman. I think it's Melvin Douglas. Yeah. Martin Sheen, no, that's the subject was roses maybe. I never sang for my father, maybe Gene Hackman and Melvin Douglas. But they may never have sang for their father, but they sang for their supper tonight here in Bend, and somebody is going to get a free supper, compliments of the great concessions that they have here at Genna. Bottom of the 6th inning, 4-3 Bend. Jack Galanita delivers a first pitch strike to Troy Sanders, who made one of the best plays of this series thus far to end the top of the 6th inning. The strike one pitch fouled away by Troy, and the count 0-2. Troy has struck out looking, walked and scored in that eventful 4th. We're in the 6th, 4-3 Bend. Ground ball right at Tate Hammond at third. Tate fields cleanly and throws across to Chance Flores. One away, and Jordan Ortiz will come to the plate. Jordan has walked and been aboard on a fielder's choice. Ortiz was then picked off on a good move by Mark Carpenter. The Knights have used Ari Silva, Carpenter, and now Jack Galanita. Jack to the plate. And the first pitch missing down and away. Aiden O'Neill will be along again to take you the rest of the way. Innings 7, 8, and 9, and if necessary, beyond. But no game is necessary beyond tonight in the NBA Finals as the Knicks come back again. A two-hopper wide of first. Flores overhands, and Galanita did not get his foot on the bag. And safe at first is Jordan Ortiz. It'll be an error charged to Galanita, and Jack, in the repetitions of life, whether in Lake Balboa or Newburgh or wherever, didn't get the primary job done, which is to get over, take the proper route, get up the line, and be available to receive the throw. I think if Chance Flores had it to do over again, he might have stayed put and allowed second baseman Berkeley Rentz to make the play. Chance ranged quite a ways to his right. That made the level of difficulty a little greater for Galanita covering. Jack didn't get his foot down in timely fashion on the bag and is charged with an error. Ortiz aboard. Eddie Alfaro, the batter, takes ball one. The 1-0 pitch is ball two, 2-0, and on such things can games turn. Now Bend already has the lead at 4-3. But instead of 2 outs, nobody on, and a potential quick and smooth inning for Gallinita, and the Knights could turn into some trouble. We'll see. Jordan Ortiz held on by Chans Flores. The 2-0 pitch is in there for a strike to Eddie Alfaro, who has flied to right and been aboard on an error. 2 balls and 1 strike the count. 4-3 Bend, bottom of the 6th inning. A throw to first. A little bit of Fred Flintstone action trying to get the legs going back into first base. It seemed like the legs were going nowhere for Ortiz, who's already been picked off, but he managed to get back to the bag safely this time. 2 balls and a strike, 1 out, 4-3 Bend, bottom of the 6th. The 2-1 pitch in there for a strike from Jack, and that evens the count at 2-2 to Eddie Alfaro. The Knicks evidently came back again. I've seen very little of the series, but from 15 down this time, nothing to that. If you come back from 29, 15's nothing. But they did it again, this time on the road to win the championship. 2-2 pitch, a grounder foul outside of third. Tremendous accomplishment for the Knicks, their first championship since the Willis Reed, Jerry Lucas, Dave DeBuscher, Walt Frazier, Bill Bradley, Phil Reardon, Phil Jackson era. The 73 Knicks winning it. They won it in 70 and 73 and hadn't won it since 99. They're champions again, or since 73. Champions again tonight. A throw to first, and back to the bag goes Jordan Ortiz. 4-3 Bend, bottom of the 6th inning. Cassie Russell too, maybe? Yeah. Red Holzman had great teams, and this team very reminiscent. The 2-2 pitch misses down and away to run the count full to 3-2. One of the things that I heard the commentators talking about, the talk show hosts and so on, the Knicks and their ability to space the floor and move, their sprays in their approach, and how they pass the ball repeatedly. Holzman's Knicks did the same for 2 titles. Runner goes, 3-2 pitch, hit foul down the left field line, giving chase. Tate Hammond. Tate runs out of room. The ball carries into the barbecue area down the left field line. It remains 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. The Knights' 3rd error of the night, opening the door for the running game to come into play. And it was the running game that led to the Elks scoring 3 in the 4th and taking the lead, which they now enjoy 4-3 in the bottom of the 6th. The 3-2 pitch, Ortiz doesn't go. A line drive, base hit into left field. Moving over to cut it off is Jackson Farah. And indeed, that error on Gallinita has created problems for the Knights. Into second base goes Ortiz. Braden Jones will be the hitter. It went from 2 outs, what should have been 2 outs and nobody on, now to 2 on and 1 out for Jones. Braden coming to the plate, trying to add to the Elks' lead at 4-3 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Knights have used Ari Silva, Mark Carpenter, and now Jack Gallinita, who didn't get his foot down on the bag with 1 out and nobody on the throw from Chans Flores. And that has led now to some pressure. He delivers the first pitch to Jones, ball 1, 1-0. First and second, 1 out. The 1-0 pitch is outside, ball 2. The quick tempo and pace of the game changed on that play at first. 2 outs, nobody on. It felt like it was just going to roll quickly to the end of the inning. But instead, Bend hoping to take advantage of the miscue. With Jordan Ortiz at second, Eddie Alfaro at first. The 2-0 pitch is outside, ball 3. Wow, baseball is such an exacting, unforgiving game. And with 2 good teams and 2 teams fairly equally matched, just one little twist in the scheme of things can change it all. The 3-0 pitch, ball 4 to load them up. It's just hard to imagine when you think about how this inning might have gone had Gallinita gotten the foot down. 2 outs, nobody on. I think the Knights, Aiden's already back on the mic, and the Knights are at the plate. That's how I think it would have gone. But a simple twist of fate, as the great bard wrote and sang years ago, and apparently was still in pretty good form in Eugene a couple of nights ago. Bob Dylan playing at the Cuthbert Amphitheater in Eugene and got a good review. 85 years of age, floating by the Cuthbert Amphitheater. I think Bob's played there, hasn't he, too? They've had some tremendous acts at the Cuthbert Amphitheater through the years, including my hero in the business. I believe Bruce Coburn has played there. We have cheated. Now, the Knights pitching coach, Bo Kearns, out for a visit with Jack Galanita. Bases loaded, one out, Bend leading 4-3. This time around, we didn't get to hear any rehearsals going on from the Hayden Holmes Amphitheater along the river. The last couple of times my youngest daughter, Elle, and I floated, two of her favorite artists were rehearsing. So we just kind of hovered in the river, slowed down the float near the amphitheater, and essentially got a free concert before we headed into the rapids and down river to Drake Park. This year, no. But what a venue. I've never seen a show there. I've heard rehearsals. But someday I hope that that'll change and that I'll be blessed to come over and see a show here too. We got a good show going on the Diamond tonight. And we've seen so many shows through the years, so much of the baseball history contained, I believe, at the History Pub at McMenamin's in Father Luke's room downtown near Franklin and Bondi. Was it a speakeasy, the secret room? I know not. Dimitri Sidko, the batter, bases loaded, one out. Bend with a chance to really separate here. The Knights infield at double play depth. A ground ball into left field, base hit. Jordan Ortiz will score. The bases will remain loaded. Sidko with an RBI single. The Elks lead at 5-3. And a good decision by Johnny Kemp to put up a stop sign. Jackson Farah was playing shallow and left. But the bases do remain loaded. Eddie Alfaro to third, Braden Jones to second. Sidko, the RBI single. Here comes Brooke Knight. And not getting the foot down has led to the travails for Jack Galanita here in the bottom of the sixth inning. It's too bad because Jack, I thought his stuff has looked good, but on a play that looked a little odd from the beginning, a big chopper wide of first, Flores chose to go after it, and that nothing wrong with that per se. But if you know where the second baseman was, and I think Berkeley Rentz could have made the play, it's altogether easier to get an out 4-3 than an out 3-1. And Flores ranged quite a ways to his right, overhanded the ball in time to Jack Galanita, and Pierce even believes that even with the first stab at the bag missed by Jack, Pierce, the producer, says, well, he thinks he still got on the bag in time. It would have been out number two outs, nobody on. And instead, it's 5-3 Bend. The bases remain loaded. The Knights go to the bullpen. So a pitching change break. We'll take a 60-second pitching change break as Bend tries to take advantage of an error. They've scored a run, bases full, back in 1 minute. 5-3 Elks on the Elks live stream and Joe Radio. Sometimes, indeed, it's just all in appearances as we welcome you back into beautiful Vince Genna Stadium. Another spectacular sunset we're being treated to, and we can actually see a little better now with the sun beginning to sink as we look out at the majestic Cascade Range, the best view in all of sport afforded right here at Vince Genna in Bend. But appearances. The fact that Gallinita missed the bag the first time around created the doubt in the base umpire, and Pierce is right. I've seen the replay. Gallinita got the foot down ahead of Ortiz, but Ortiz was called safe because it looked like he was based on the missing of the bag the first time around. And the appearances win the day, and I'm looking at it here again. You can see the foot on the bag before Ortiz's foot hits the pillow. But here we are with Max Zostowski into the game for the Knights, missing on the first pitch with the bases loaded. A ground ball to first. Chance Flores knocks it down. He has only one play. It's to first to get the hitter Jackson Murphy. But on the play, coming down the line to score is Eddie Alfaro, and Bend leads it 6-3 in an inning that probably shouldn't have come about at all. Jackson Murphy with the RBI groundout unassisted off of Zostowski to Chance Flores. Chance knocked it down. His only play, even without knocking it down, and he fielded cleanly, would have been at first base. I don't think he would have made an attempt at the plate. 2 down in the inning. Jace Miller, the batter, that elusive second out finally comes. Max Zostowski delivers and misses to Jace for ball one, 1-0. Tough turn of events for the Knights, who once led this ball game 3-1, now trail it 6-3. Jace is singled, grounded out, and struck out, and now the Knights will put Miller on intentionally, which will bring Marcus Galvin, left-handed hitter, designated hitter, to the plate against the left-hander Zostowski. Mack is making his fourth appearance, no decision, 6 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 6 strikeouts, with 4 walks. And Coach Knight and Bo Kearns preferring the left-on-left matchup, trying to stay in the game, quite frankly. The Elks have done a great job. 3 runs in the 4th, 2 here in the 6th to lead it 6-3. Bases loaded, 2 down. First pitch is swung on and missed. A big lead at first base from Jace Miller. I don't know if he forgot for a moment that he had a guy in front of him in Dimitri Sisidko at second, but he put on the brakes and headed back to the bag. The bases indeed full. Jones at third, Sisidko at second, Jace Miller at first, 2 down. The strike one pitch, a nubber up along first. Flores fields, takes it to the bag. The inning is over. First base proved elusive for Jack Gallinita, even though he may still have gotten the out. And that opens the door for the Elks to get 2 and add to their lead. They leave the bases loaded. That's the good news for the Knights. And a nice job by Max Zostowski. But the Knights now hoping to find the comeback trail as we go to the 7th inning on this gorgeous night in Bend. Aiden O'Neill will be back along to take you the rest of the way. I appreciate him allowing time on this live stream. Thanks for listening. And for listeners back in the Mid-Valley, we go back to a radio only for the final 3 innings here in Bend. After 6, the Elks 6 and the Knights 3. Aiden will take over on the Elks live stream in 1 minute and on Joe Radio.
New pitcher on the mound for the Bend Elks, a 6-3 lead for the home team. And it's Noble Ortega. The southpaw does a little two-way work, this time working on the rubber. Hope you guys enjoyed the legendary Mike Parker for the middle frames. I'll take you home the rest of the way. 3 runs the Elks had in the 4th, 2 runs in the 6th, and now it's about preserving the lead with a bullpen that has been a bit up and down all season long. Archer Horn, the lefty, will step in, and that's a part of probably going to Ortega here for the pitching coach Wes Harper and Alan Cox. You get left on left a couple of times. Fastball misses away. Horn's stats are out of this world at the moment. A 1,200 OPS. A homer, 7 driven in, had a 2 RBI double earlier. Take down and away on the ball. Currently Noble Ortega in the transfer portal. And a tough customer he's facing in Archer Horn, who has been the star of this series. Feels like a preview for what's to come, with a bright, bright future ahead. But he pops up the 2-0 into shallow left field. Sasidko moves over, plays a trick on him for a bit with the wind, and makes the catch. Good start from Noble Ortega. Is at Fresno Community College. Now in the portal. Xavier Rios will hit with 1 gone in the 7th. Rios also good numbers, lengthening the bottom of this order. Vegas fastball misses in tight. Still a good amount of fans hanging out. Vinny still taking pictures down the third base line. And those that are sticking around in for a good one, as Sasidko ranges to his right and makes the catch. 2 straight plays from Dimitri. There's 2 gone. Getting action out there after he came up to bat in the bottom of the 6th inning and delivered a critical RBI single to keep the line moving. Just looking for some insurance runs as we get late. Now bringing up Jackson Farah. Farah 1 for 2 tonight. Ortega rocks and fires a curveball that misses down and away. At the dish, Noble Ortega's batting .313 with a couple of runs batted in. And then on the mound, he's been used in spurts out of the bullpen. Had 1 start that came back on June the 6th against Walla Walla, where he got hit around. 5 hits, 4 runs. But besides that, has been quite steady for these Elks. Fastball called a strike. It's 2-1. If you can two-way at any level of baseball this deep into your career, you're going to be highly touted. 2-1 up and in tight, and it hits Farah. A loud sound. Not sure if that was the elbow guard or if it caught some of the bat. But a 2-out base runner. You could tell right away that that didn't feel too good. Ortega, though, will get another crack at another left-handed bat, and Tate Hammond fires in a fastball that misses down and away. Down by 3, Farah likely be staying put over there at first, and his lead is also exemplifying that. Fastball misses down and away. Ortega's got to come in. Tate Hammond, another star incoming freshman who struggled to start this year for Corvallis, but committed to UCLA out of Long Beach, California. 0 for 2 tonight. Couple of groundouts to Braden Jones out there at second. 3-0. It just missed a hair down. At the bottom of the order up, if you're Ortega, have to come in here. Do not want any more foot traffic. Walked him on 4 pitches. And back-to-back free passes brings up the tying run to the plate in the form of Joey Marasco. Time is now called. Good feel here from pitching coach Wes Harper to go out there on the mound and have a quick chat with Ortega. Big spot in this game, looking to preserve a 3-run lead. And with that, let's take a look around the West Coast League, some scores from tonight. You see the ticker on the bottom. Pierce with a beautiful touch. Chef's kiss, but I'll still take you through them. Yakima on top of Edmonton, 9-0 in the top of the 9th. Wenatchee beating Nanaimo, 6-4 in the top of the 8th. Portland taking down the Bells, 6-0 in the bottom of the 9th. Kelowna up on Port Angeles, 7-1, top 9. Ridgefield, their offense, so good, up 10-2 on the Berries. Team that, in the Berries, that swept the Elks. Springfield on top of Victoria, 4-3, and then Kamloops beat Walla Walla in a pitcher's duel, 1-0 the final there in Canada. Harper departs. Marasco digs in. Take a fastball. Called a strike at the bottom of the zone. A gift from home plate umpire Thomas Glynn. But one that could settle Ortega in. Marasco 0 for 3 tonight. Fastball misses in tight. It's Farah on second and Hammond on first. Both reached on the free pass. Elks lead 6-3 in the top of the 7th. Getting late here at Genna. Big curveball. Called a strike at the bottom of the zone. It's 1-2. Noble Ortega, as calm as they come on the surface, but a fiery competitor looking for one more for a big out. Got him swinging. Noble Ortega right back to the breaking ball. And the Bend Elks escape the 7th unscathed. That pitch, reliable. And Marasco was simply fooled. Stretch time here at Genna. Elks lead it 6-3.
Sing, take me out to the ball game. Let's get some runs!
Bottom of the 7th inning on a tremendous night here at Vince Genna Stadium with the Elks leading 6-3. The American flag flying proudly in the distance. The day after, Team USA beat Paraguay 4-1 in the opening match of the World Cup. And what many consider to be the greatest city in America, New York, just got their first NBA title for the first time since 1973. Pupo takes a strike at the bottom of the zone. New York tonight's going to turn into Gotham. Gotta hope that everybody stays safe out there. One of the biggest, most passionate fan bases finally over the hump. As Pupo sprays it foul. Jalen Brunson, Finals MVP. The fan takes a souvenir home for his kid, or maybe he'll put it in his office shelf. Saying, nope, not yet. You can get it when you get home. Zostowski fields, throws to first, and there's one gone. Although the Elks have 6 runs, the hit department hasn't been jumping off the charts. Only 6 hits, 1 error. On Corvallis' side, 3 runs, 5 hits, but they've made 3 errors in the field that have cost them. Sanders jumps on the first pitch and fouls it away. Sanders so far tonight reached on a walk. Take away. One misses down. Tonight's attendance, a lot of people came here to Genna. 1,193, I'd guess. At least a decent amount have dispersed at this hour. People in Bend go to bed pretty early, I guess. Sanders skies the 2-1 to shallow center. No one can pick it up, though. It's falling fast. The dive. Garvey couldn't catch it. Now Sanders has to scamper back to first, and he's out. The ball off the crack of the bat got lost in the sky. This tough dusk light. And Garvey gave it his best effort on the dive, but he couldn't catch it. It looked like for a moment it was almost in the back of the web. Sanders took a huge turn around first, and then a throw and a catch. Beat him just barely. Now Jordan Ortiz. Take a strike. That's a weird one. The Elks had a similar situation on their side at the same time of night, the dusk Central Oregon sky. It's hard for a fly ball, that white pigmentation being seen. Talarico and Nato in one of those series in Salem against Marion. In game 1 that started the 7-game losing streak, lost the ball in the dusk. It fell in. Elks ended up losing by 1 run. 1-1 misses away, and then tonight it went the Elks' way after it fell in, but Sanders got greedy. Ortiz tonight has reached on all 3 plate appearances, but doesn't have a hit. Pretty peculiar stat line as he'll take a fastball away at 86. A walk, reached on a fielder's choice, and then reached on an error. Catcher out of LMU. Can look for a pitch to drive here in a hitter's count. Big hack and a miss. It's 3-2. Zostowski, the lefty, in his second inning of work from Trabuco Canyon, California. Went to Jay Serra, just like Dmitry Sisitko on the Elks. Now attends Eastern Illinois. The payoff. Grounded softly to Rentz at second, and that will end the inning. The Elks get Sanders on a bloop single, but he gets caught up on the base paths. To the 8th inning, Elks lead it 6-3. Welcome inside the broadcast booth once again. I'm Aiden O'Neill. Thanks so much for joining us. Game 2 of 3 versus the Corvallis Knights. And tonight the Elks have come to play. The offense has looked much improved, a lot of new faces, but now it's about closing the door. Over this 7-game losing streak, the Elks, though, haven't been in this position. Feels like as the games have gotten late, they've ended up faltering. So now, in a situation where you're posed with the question, up 3, can you close it? 6-3 the score. 7 hits for the Elks. They're going back to Noble Ortega for his second inning of work. We'll take a look at the defense now for the Elks. Sisitko, Pupo, and Murphy from left to right. Pupo came in for Travis Friend in the middle of this game. We hope Friend's all right. Alfaro and Sanders on the left side. Jones and Miller on the right side with Ortiz doing the catching. And Ortega, too, it is his second inning of work, but this time it's against the heart of the order, 2, 3, and 4. Rentz, Flores, and Garvey. Berkeley Rentz so far tonight, 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Ortega fires in a strike. Been knocking on the door of these moments. Getting that leadoff batter is critical. Big fan and a miss, nothing in 2. In this frame, 2 lefties Ortega will face. Probably a part of the decision to send him back out there. Got him swinging. Noble Ortega on that filthy breaking ball. And he stops and stares. Look at the pose. Filthy. Looked like that was right at the third baseman, Eddie Alfaro. Ortega's a character, and you wouldn't think it with his quiet nature. Chance Flores fouls it away. But he really is a personality. One of those that you unlock the more you get to know him. And has a lot of fun playing this game, emerging as a leader early on in this season. 0-1 misses up. Chance Flores, 0 for 3 tonight for the Knights. Ortega with that windup as he looks dead at Flores. Fire away a breaking ball. It's funky. We've chatted about it before, but similar to a softball player, as you see in the circle. Good hustle again from the Elks bat boy. Ortega faces the batter straight on, like he might take a step back and uncoil. Flores laces that ball deep into left center field. Sitko trailing over, and he makes the catch. A great jump from Dimitri, who's flashing the leather all night defensively. That play can't be made unless you get a really good jump. And Sitko was all over it. Now Zane Garvey with 2 gone. Miss is down. Been a roller coaster of a game, truly. Sitting at 9:10 local time. Garvey grounds that one on a couple of hops to Jones, who boots it, sticks with it, throws to first, and another clean inning for Nobel Ortega. Emerging as a trusty man out of that Elks bullpen, a 0. As we roll on to the bottom of the 8th, Bend on top by 3 here on the Bend Elks YouTube page. Bottom of the 8th inning. Take a look at the Corvallis Knights defense at this stage of the game. Farah, Morosco, Garvey, Hammond and Horn, Rents and Flores, and Rios doing the catching. No substitutions on their side. Max Oztoski coming in for another inning of work, and he'll go against the bottom of the order for the Bend Elks. Eddie Alfaro, Braden Jones, Dimitri Sitko, who's been everywhere in the field, gets another chance to hit. Alfaro, 2 hits tonight out of Cal State San Bernardino, as Johnny Kemp will scamper down to third. Bit late, but no harm. You'd love to get 1 or 2 more runs to make that 9th inning even more comfortable. Big swing and a miss on the fastball from Zoztoski. Eddie Alfaro from Cal State San Bernardino, as mentioned. A couple of teammates from there on this current version of the Elks, Cade Finazzo, Keaton Nato. And Benji Solano, of course. Him and Noah Batanco here a year ago. Fan favorite Benji, who I'm sure these fans still miss. Had iconic moments galore and always had a smile on his face. 0-2's flipped foul. And you see some comparisons. Alfaro obviously batting from the right side instead of the left side like Solano, but still that slick fielding middle infielder. When the bat comes along for the ride, makes quite the complete player. Toski's 0-2. Grounded softly to the shortstop, and Horn comes in on the run, throw to first, up the line, but a great stretch by Flores. Archer Horn, the MLB draft prospect, looks silky smooth on the field and transition to the throw. But it took the Flores stretch to really save him on the back end. That was just up the line and a good play. Braden Jones will hit left on left. Take a ball down. Doesn't look like anybody's stirring in that Bend Elks bullpen. Would assume at the moment that Nobel Ortega gets the task to come out in the ninth, and I believe that would be the right decision with how good he's been, the experience of even starting games at points. Dead quiet, but playing some college football. That's a statement for a lot of pitchers. They warm up with the football, really gets the arm loose. Jones has walked a couple of times tonight. Also made some good plays on the field. Zostowski's been cruising along on the bump, the tall lefty. Chopped softly. Hammond coming in at third. His throw to first in time. A good play with the speedy Jones on the back end. That had shades of Marcus Galvin's infield single, where it looked like it almost chopped off the plate. Gave Jones a chance to beat it out. Hammond with the quick transition. Dimitri Sasidko hits with 2 outs. Take down and in. You probably heard me earlier, but the pitcher, Magzaz Toski, and Dimitri Sasidko, both highly touted high school baseball players as well. As Sasidko grounds that one, foul. Just foul. Hammond fielded it on the other side of the base path, but it looked like, as Thomas Glynn watched it all the way, that he might have called that fair. Sasidko is busting it out the box in case. Let's see, what did it look like? Yeah, probably foul there, based on our camera angle. Takes a strike. But speaking of both of these guys being highly touted, they both went to the same high school. J. Sarah Catholic, place where Dimitri Sasidko won 2 CIF championships. So I wonder, based on their age, if they ever intersected a year. Taken down and away is Sasidko. For Zostowski at J. Sarah, a 1.82 ERA as a senior. So thinking about it, that senior year for Zostowski should have been Sasidko's junior year. More action for Hammond, and his throw will end the inning. Elks go down in order. They need 3 outs to break the losing streak. When we come back on Bend Elks YouTube. The closer for the Bend Elks enters here in the 9th. It's the 6'3" righty, Josh Jackson. Hasn't been in this opportunity for quite some time on this Elks 7-game losing streak. The last time he threw was June 7th against Walla Walla. Not a save opportunity, though. Pinch hitter for the Corvallis Knights, in for Josh Natai. It's Carter Stewart, who was in the lineup yesterday, the lefty. Jackson comes home. Grounded softly to the first baseman and Miller. Covering is Jackson, a good PFP. Well executed. Miller had to go a long way to his right, and great hustle from Jackson. Immediately seen that to Miller by hustling over. Now face Archer Horn. Dangerous threat, one you're happy to face in a 3-run game. Fills it up on the first pitch at 87. Jackson from Umpqua Community College, a 7.5 ERA, entering this out in 1-1 whip and 11 punch-outs. Comes set at the belt, the 0-1. Popped up. Shallow center field. Tough sky right now. Racing in is Pupo. Going out is the shortstop in Sanders. And he saves the day on the catch. That was dangerous, but a great play by Troy. And the Elks are 1 out away. Almost got in that Bermuda Triangle, with Pupo respecting the power of Archer Horn, and relatively so. And then Sanders with the hat flying off. Squeezed it. Xavier Rios, the last chance for the Corvallis Knights to keep this game rolling. Called a strike on the outside corner at 87. Jackson waiting no time to attack, wasting no time attacking these hitters. Filling up the zone. Filthy breaking ball runs away. Rios is 1 for 3 tonight. These fans been waiting a while for a dub, a whole week. Now on the brink. 1-2. And you'll feel this energy a little more for the fans that have still stuck around. Feeling it. Jackson's 1-2. Just up and away, and that could have been called a strike by home plate umpire Thomas Glynn. The kiddos getting the stomps going. Jackson's 2-2. Sprayed foul, and Rios stays alive. Just the 9th pitch of the frame coming up for Jackson. The entire Elks dugout watching on. Got him looking! Josh Jackson slams the door, and the Elks break the losing streak. Six to 3 the final, and we've been waiting for this light show. Keep it going all night long. Victory formation on the mound, and Josh Jackson picks up his 2nd save of the young season. with the Elks knocking off the Knights. That one feels good. And the dudes we talked about in the beginning, the matching shirts paid off. Never wash it again. You're coming back tomorrow. Same fit every day for the rest of the season. Victory high fives have never felt so good. A sense of relief, maybe, for those Elks coaches. Everybody working so hard to just continue to knock on the door and get closer and go through the trials and tribulations of a 7-game losing streak. But the Elks finally get over the hump. 6-3 the final. And looking back at this game, the 3 spot in the second inning for the Knights. Elks down 3-1. It feels like we might be doing this whole thing again. But the offense tonight was super resilient. You got to start with the pitching staff. Ryan McDougall gave it his all. Starting, the stuff looked really good. Timely decisions by Alan Cox were brilliant. They brought in Jackson Ashley to face the lefty. And I want to find that moment. I'm going to go back on my book right now. There it is. 4th inning. Runners. The bases were loaded, I believe, at this moment. In the 4th. Archer Horn walked. Xavier Rios walked. And then you go to Jackson Ashley to get the left-on-left matchup against Jackson Farah. And you get a pivotal ground ball. This is a peek back at that 4th. It was a walk and a wild pitch where Jordan Ortiz couldn't find it. Runners were then on the corners. Then the ground ball. Money. Around the horn, 4-6-3, ended the frame. And then in the bottom half, in an inning that felt like an hour, it basically was. The Elks finally got the offense going. Scored on that wild pitch. Ortiz grounded one. They went home. And how about that slide from Troy Sanders? The finite moments that made a difference for the Elks. Later, it was Dimitri Sisidko who keeps on hitting. And this time, it was just beating one out. Jackson Murphy, an infield single. It wasn't glamorous, but it was enough. And when you go through as much as the Elks have gone through during this losing streak, you will take enough to beat a team like Corvallis that doesn't beat themselves. And tonight, they did more than normal. 3 errors on their side. It was more funky than you might see or normally see out of a Brooke Knight-led team. But all 5 pitchers that came in tonight for the Elks deserve a round of applause. McDougall, Ashley, Eastep, Ortega, and Jackson all were outstanding. And the Elks look for the win in the series tomorrow at 5:05 against the Corvallis Knights. A really fun one tonight. And to put a button on it, come out tomorrow. The losing streak is over. The Elks look to take a series for just the 2nd time this season, with that first coming against Springfield when the year began. Your final lines: 6 runs for the Elks, 3 for the Knights, 7 hits for Bend, 5 for Corvallis, and those 3 errors for the Knights were costly to just 1 for the Elks. Bend wins it. We will see you tomorrow. For my lovely producer, Pierce Gordon, the entire crew, I'm Aiden O'Neill, signing off. We'll see you Sunday as the Elks look to take another.